Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Neo Tokyo's official podcast, Interlinked. We are powered by Shrapnel. And before we cut to the ad, it won't be included in the ad, but we do have an update from the Shrapnel team. We're back in communications with them. They're cooking up some cool stuff. So that will be included in next week's episode. So make sure to tune in to get the updates there. What's up, crypto gamers? Nick here with a little update on Shrapnel. So we have clearly not missed the news on our chief sponsor. We've heard about the layoffs. We've heard about the legal issues. We've reached out to the team, and our former contact, who is no longer at Shrapnel, assured us that they are still working on the game. I know they're posting about controller support. They're posting about a new AR that'll be coming to the next Access event, but we're a little sparse on details. They, as far as we know, still sponsor the show, and so we're making an ad to update our community on what we know from our perspective. If that changes, we'll make sure to update this with better information. Hope everyone stays well and has a good crypto gaming week. Huge shout out to our sponsor, Playa3ull Games. They are inspired by gamers and funded by their community. They have a epic game on the Epic Games Store, a third-person shooter called Nexus. Hop on in there and check that out. They're also currently selling nodes, so if you're interested, check that out at their website, playable.games. That is a 3 instead of a B on Playable. Now strap in for the rest of this episode of Interlinked. For today, I am joined here by Gleb, the marketing director of Revenant. They are creating Titanborn. How are you doing today, Gleb?
We're doing great. Thanks for invitation and happy to be here and talk about what we're doing and let you know whatever you want to know. So don't be shy. Ask your
Hell yeah.
questions. I'm here, all yours, for the next 40 or so minutes.
Yeah, stoked to get into it. Could you give a little introduction for yourself personally, your background and such, how you got into your marketing director role, and then we'll dive into Revenant and Titanborn.
Okay, good. Thanks. So my name is Gleb. Some people already know me under my username, nickname, which is Glebheart. Well, this comes partially from Gleb and from Hearthstone. Well, but originally this username came from, I don't know if you've tried, but I'm pretty sure lots of you played the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and you know about there are other role-playing systems like GURPS, like Game Universal role-playing system. And once I like had an application and I was rolling like elven names, and it suggested me name that was Gebhardt, and I was like, oh Jesus, that's so close to my name, so I will be Glebheart.
Oh,
And
that's great.
since then, for like 20 years, or even I guess no, even more than 20 years, I guess I use that username. Basically, I have a long gamer story. Like I've been a gamer for all my life, literally. I got my first PC in 1991. So yes, back in those days, and yes, I'm that old. And I always, dreamt of playing games and earning, like when since I was already like very very young. But in 19s, even in 2000s, that wasn't really an option. There were no that many opportunities. So I studied programming. I studied finance at the university, but I did find it very boring. So I went into marketing. But I always had the dream, to get into the game industry. And in 2014, I got that opportunity. Basically, like 10 years ago, I was invited by one of the top esports teams that is called Navi or Natus Vincere. For those who play Dota or Counter Strike, they should know this team. And I became their first marketing director. I built all the marketing system, in-house marketing agency that worked with lots of teams, tournament organizer, casting studios, and we were the biggest, I'd say, in the Eastern Europe at that time. That was a very cool experience. It was like as close to game industry as it could be at that moment. Then I did different projects on my own. I even developed board games. Yes, I love that stuff. And for the last almost 4 years, I worked with the games in Web3 because originally I'm a big fan of card games, of trading card games. I've been a Magic the Gathering player, not a pro player. I'm really a casual guy. Like I'm not that kind of grinder. Let's say I play more for fun, but I play. So I love the Magic the Gathering, and I love that trading aspect. You know that you buy a booster, something comes out, you don't know. Oh, but that's a rare. Oh, that's a shitty rare. I will throw it away. Or wow, this is epic. I can sell it for $10. At the club. So, and I remember that excitement always, and that trading excitement and booster opening, pack opening. So uh, in 2014, when Hearthstone came out, I was like, oh, Jesus, I've been waiting for this for years. Uh, the only downside for me was that I couldn't, trade the cards. Like I can buy them, but I can't really change them, whatever. So they got stuck in my account, and I was thinking like, what if they did an opportunity for players to exchange the cards, to sell them, to buy them, because they could build an economy. But at that moment, I didn't think that. I don't know what Blizzard is thinking at this moment, but I'm pretty sure 10 years ago they had no idea of how blockchain functions and all the possibilities. So basically, in 2021, uh, early in 2021, I was approached by uh, a Web3 studio, and they were developing a trading card game, which was called Dark Country. And and I looked at it, and it was like, okay, that was trading card game, and you could trade the cards. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I need to try this. And yeah, since then I'm completely, stuck in a good meaning, of course. I'm completely stuck in Web3. I worked with different projects. Of course, the most fun period was, I must say, 2021, first half of 2022. Then things like were a bit tough, and not many survived, right?
Mhm.
Yes, but still, I'm here, so which is a good sign, and we're still building. And what I must say, like for me, crypto is at the very first thing is basically, and I see games basically is as the most, how to say, uh, is the most real thing in crypto. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really deep into this DeFi stuff. I call it all DeFi. What's not games, that for me, that's DeFi.
Same here.
Yes. So if that's not the game, if that's gamify, then it's DeFi. I don't touch that, because the meaning of DeFi for me, not to offend anybody from the DeFi part of life, but like for me, it's boring. Like I just don't get, the vibe. I just don't really get excited. Oh, you can stake this and add this to LP, and then you will get this APY, and this like, okay, that, well, I know for some people that sounds cool, but not for me. But when but when it comes to games, well, that's a different story. Why? Because games, they produce, if they are done the right way, they produce dopamine or dopamine. I don't know how you say it like in English, but this hormone of happiness.
Yeah,
Uh,
dopamine.
Dopamine, yeah, because like in Russian it's dopamine, or
Dopamine.
but same, pretty much the same, because I guess it's pH.
Mhm.
Yeah, And yes, because they produce something. Actually, they don't just consume your time. They get you excited. They bring you fun. They bring you joy. They bring you like real enjoyment, not just the numbers that you check like every day. Okay, how much I've earned from this, or okay, I'm gonna do this meaningless transactions on this new network, waiting for them to airdrop me $50. Well, forgive me those who do this. It's just not my style. Of course, we need to be honest, it also, and understand that games in Web3, they are basically protocols as well.
Mhm.
And we can say that at the end of the day, all games in Web3, even if they try to deny it, they are mostly gamified DeFi, but
Mhm.
like really gamified, like gamified to a way that you look at it and you don't see this as DeFi. But I've been here for a while. You can't trick me. I know what it is. And basically, but the issue is not the games. Sorry, I can talk about this forever. But the issue is not the games. The issue is those who play them. Because literally, Web3 audience is all about DeFi. And
Mhm.
that's what they see. And so, okay, first, when people look at the Web3 game, okay, it looks cool. Cool. Okay, the gameplay mm, doesn't really that matter. Why? Because what I will do, I will go and study their economy, and I will try to find the most efficient way to get the rewards. So that kind of behavior is, to be real, is a little bit toxic to the ecosystem, because when you start to give incentive, people stop playing for fun. They play for rewards. um,
Mhm.
and literally, I know my approach and what I'm talking about might not be welcomed, because uh, because we all in Web3 gaming, we all try to build games that will be fun to play and that people will play for fun. But as I say, the problem is not the games. The problem is that this incentive, it makes a shift in the brain. And I'll be honest with you, I'll be happy to see a game that will change this. But for now, I think we need to be very, very patient, because almost every second, every first game wants to say or says, we will onboard and the first billion of gamers into Web3 gaming. But I will say, no way, no way you can do this. Why? Because the philosophy of a Web2 player is completely different from philosophy of a Web3 player. And that there is so huge gap that you can't revolutionary um, fill that gap. It will take years for adoption. And I don't know if all the games in the future will be on blockchain. I think maybe not, because still lots of people want to play just for fun, and they are actually ready to play for that fun. And of course, that's how the industry, I mean, Web2 traditional gaming industry works. But we need to understand that in Web3, there will be still quite a long period while we will be literally building gamified protocols. And we can't really avoid that. Someday, uh, I think evolutionary, something will emerge out of that. And with what we are doing at Revenant, Revenant is an indie game development studio founded back in 2021. And for the last almost like more than 2 years, we've been building. And I'd say we thought of being Web 2.5. Yes, we're arena-based 3D fighting game with RPG elements, and we had this intention, to be Web 2.5, so like be friendly to all kinds of audiences. But through this time that we've been building, we literally understand one important thing. In Web 3, you can't be Web 2.5. You will not survive. It's impossible. Why? Because of this philosophy difference between Web 2 and Web 3 audiences. Like, I'll give an example. For example, we talked to one of our advisors about doing advertising on Reddit, and what he said, no way, don't do this. Because the moment Reddit audience will find out, realize that you are something Web3, NFT, whatever, blockchain, Web3, whatever, they will do everything they can to dump you,
Hmm.
to literally you'll get nothing except the backlash, and very organized backlash, not some random but very
They go
organized
hard.
backlash. Yes, yes, yes. So like never do that, and I completely agree with him, because yes, they see this, what we're doing here in Web3, like, what's funny, we at Web3 we already think like we are on the edge of technology, and that's true. With the token incentives, with the NFTs, we actually do we are on how to say this, we are exploring unexplored universe, not just piece of land, not a continent, but a huge universe. But and it's hard. It's not an easy thing. We already see like even Titans fail. I even look like Illuvium has how much, because they report their treasury and their runway. Illuvium has less than a year of a runway, and we need to understand. They might like, but that's Illuvium. That's like millions and millions. And so what's going on? But what's going on is this is Web3, baby.
Yeah. It's
There are
cutthroat.
no, yes, there are no, we should all be prepared to fail, and to fail hard. Why? Because this is a terra incognita, unknown land. There are no known solutions. Like, for example, with another advisor, consultant, or producer, let's say, the guy who's helping us, he worked on like very well-known titles, free-to-play games, mobile games, and he says, but in Web 2, I mean, and he's like, Jesus, guys, like, I don't, like, it's very hard for me like to apply those standards, because in Web 2 there are known ways. Okay, you do two currencies, you sell loot crates, you sell stars, you sell gems. Like, all you need to do is to kind of fine tune it, find your niche, and you'll be okay. Invest at least like 1 million in advertising, and you're good. Yeah, of course, the game can fail because of the bad gameplay or whatever, but there are known ways. In our case, there are no known ways, and uh, every every game that fails, basically, we should study that.
Hmm.
We shouldn't look, what's interesting, we shouldn't look that much at those who kind of look like they succeed, because most of the games, they literally succeed at the level when they do a good rise. But what happens next, like with the movement, but what happens next, then well, it's different. It's different, and it's difficult. And right now, I must say, I see that it's not that easy to rise, but still, and on the one hand, we see a lot of new wallets in GameFi. For the last 1 year, the number of wallets in Web3 gaming, it went from 1 million, 1.2 million to kind of 5 million, like 4 times, which is like insane. Yeah, but we still see that it's not easy to rise. I look at launchpads. Like we at Titanborn, we were lucky. We actually, the game was self-funded for a quite long period of time. But recently, we received a grant from Telus Foundation, from the Telus network, and now we're building with them. Super nice guys. I really like, big thanks for them that they've noticed us, and so they were, I would say, among the very few networks that were looking at the game, not at the, because everybody else was kind of, how many new users are you gonna bring us? Okay, guys, we're not like bringing users. We're not the marketing agency, right? We're a
Hmm.
game. We're building a game. We're looking for a place where we can settle down. But these guys, they were like, okay, we like your game, so let's make it here. And we said, okay,
Hmm.
let's make it, because that was completely different approach, and they are very supportive. So basically, they bring. It's more on them to bring us players. Our job is to do the good product, and yeah, that's how it works.
Absolutely. I'd love to
So
jump in on
yeah.
a couple points because you raised a bunch of interesting ones. You mentioned that the wallets went from 1 million to 5 million. How much do you think that's airdrop farming? And how much do you think is real growth? Because
Um,
with these incentives to maximize, most of these games, even the ones that are doing it through gameplay, it's usually about grinding missions, and those missions are relatively achievable. So, like for Nine Heroes or some of the other options, let's say it's like win 2 matches, play this long with this class. There's sort of an incentive to crank up multiple wallets and try and multiple farm that airdrop. So I'm always curious. Same with like Telegram, new users, new users, new
uh,
users. I'm like, how many of these users are bots or duplicates?
Well, that's a very, very interesting question, I must say. Well, basically, a lot of them are bots for sure, because I'm right now looking at statistics. I can draw. I don't know if you're aware of this footprint network
Oh, I'm
statistics.
not.
No, you're not. Oh, can I drop it in the chat somehow?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah,
Chat's
yeah, that's
right next to participants. Gleb just dropped the footprint, as you were saying, Gleb.
yeah. So basically, of course, like we've seen the rise of the play to airdrop in the last like half a year. But the growth started to boomed like at the beginning of. I'm looking just at the numbers. The boom started from somewhere from December of the last year, so it's less, even less than a year we have of the growth. But now I'm looking at transactions, and yes, you're right. Actually, the number of transactions, it's dropped. It actually
Interesting.
dropped. It dropped, yes, and even it dropped by, there is a kind of spike, but last in July 2023, uh, to like some incredible number of transactions. I don't know what was there, what happened, but yeah, but number
Well,
of transactions dropped literally.
which is
But
also probably a contributing factor is the fact that more of these games are handling more transactions off chain. So I used to play one of the first games back in maybe 2021 I was researching was Blockchain Monsters. Um, and that game, every single thing you did was on chain, where now most games are moving to either a soft stake model where you stake your assets and then everything takes place on their servers. And then when you go to offboard, that's when you actually do chain interactions. So it's interesting. You have those sort of like opposing forces. It's hard to like sort of measure
Yeah,
apples to
yeah.
apples with like the meta shifting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, I want to believe, like Agent Mulder, I want to believe that we actually have more players than just wallets, but it's really hard to estimate. And at the end of the day, we don't know the real. We don't see, we don't have the real number, also because a lot of games are in play to airdrop phase now, and this is very very like ultra popular.
Hmm.
Like Raven Quest has been doing recently, and I know that 60,000, they had like 60,000 players, and that's a lot for a Web3 game. That's a lot, and just for the airdrop, and they're airdropping just a small amount, literally. So I think uh, I think the number actually have increased because even if that's a proportion, let's say uh, if we had like 1 million, we still don't know how many bots there are,
Hmm.
right? So let's assume that's like 70%. So it means we have like 300,000 of real players. But if now it's 5 million and it's 70%, still 70%, or let's say 80% of bots, then still we have the number of real wallets like increased as well, like by okay, let's say by 2 times, not by 4 or 5 times, but still the number is growing and the
Yeah, I would
interest is
agree.
growing, and the interest is growing, but it's really hard to measure. That's true. That's true. Because yeah, because of the bots and everything. But um, where have we started? That actually gamify is not dying. I actually see, in LinkedIn, I start to see for quite a period of time, I start to see these uh, Jesus posts. Okay, Web3 gaming is dying, NFTs are dying, this is all doomed,
Hmm.
etc. Nobody wants to invest, and like that really happens to some extent. But if games are gonna die, like what shall we think about all the other industry? Because it's like something minds something, like at the end of the day. So
Yeah, yeah.
what, there is no even dopamine in this. So how can something that creates at least a good emotion uh, like disappear? I just don't want to believe that.
And the
So
games have come so far. If you look back at 2021 to where we are now, obviously I can't talk about off the grid because it's under NDA, but I wish I could talk about it. Let me put it that way. There's like, Nine Heroes. There's so many games that are light years ahead of where we were in 2021. Pixels. Like there's so many I could just like rattle off where I'm like, hey, these are very playable games. And while a lot of these still have shortcomings, like there's a lot to be excited about, and the onboarding's getting easier, and the fact that you can do so many transactions off chain and then have them settled on chain on the back end, like there's a lot to be excited about.
yeah, yeah. Uh, what I like about Web3 gaming is that this is an uh, un, there is an unbelievable field for innovation. There is for experiment, for like doing something new. About this is all about being bold here. So not like in because like literally in Web3 games, if you look at them, most part, especially when it comes to mobile games, okay, some genius makes a good game, then corporation looks, okay, good, takes it, and just pours like 100 million in market in production plus marketing and kills the original. But here it's more possible for an indie developer to express himself, to make some fortune at the end of the day, and bring some fun to the ecosystem. Of
Try
course,
something new.
yeah, try something new, and like the cost of entrance is comparably is way lower than in traditional gaming, because of course, like there are still indie games, etc. But it's easier to produce and release something and become popular in Web3 than in Web2, where you need to compete with giants, right,
Mhm.
for the attention of a player. It's not that like easy to make another Wukong or Baldur's Gate, right? So those are monsters. So
And because they're monsters and they've grown to such a large size, because I've also witnessed in the movie industry as well, everything gets focus grouped to death because it has to appeal to mass market. If you make
yeah,
a $100 million video game and it only resonates with a tiny amount of the community, it's a huge flop. But back in the day in movies and video games, and when really the indie revolution happened, when they could get placed on the Xbox store or Steam and they could get purchased, you could take a shot with a small budget and make something really cool. In the movie industry, like I love the movie Boondock Saints, which is a little cult classic. You'd never be able to make a movie like that with a giant budget because it just wouldn't appeal to the mass amount of people, but who it did appeal to, it really, really resonated. So I am quite optimistic that we can have some new growth where gaming has felt relatively stagnant.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's basically what why I like I want to stay here for as long as possible, because I want to see where it all will go.
Mhm.
And if we talk about Titanborn, I'm not gonna tell you we are gonna be like super ultra revolutionary, but we want to try some stuff. Like for example, from my esports past, what I'm used to as a monetization model is how esports works actually. What how does it live? Uh, Everybody outside of the industry, they think that when a team wins like $1 million, then the organization gets that $1 million and then pays like 20K per player. No,
Mhm.
uh, actually it's vice versa. Most of the earnings they go to the players, and the club, the organization takes the lesser part, or like maybe not the less of the of money, but not relatively not a big amount. Why? Because the players they need to have like very ultra strong motivation to win. What the organization lives from, it lives from sponsorship mostly. Sponsorship, of course, there is merchandise, etc., but sponsorship is one of the main incomes. And we would like to try to apply this to the game. In what way? So it's a fighting. It's fighting on 3D fighting on arena, and for me as a marketing guy, this arena looks empty. In what way? It can be branded. So, like if we manage to get players, so if we get players, then we can get views. If we can get views, then we can sell the views, and that's way monetize. So we literally can brand arena with other Web3 projects, other games, or wherever, and that way we can get an external source of income. Like for me, building a sustainable economy in Web3, it has only two ways. First way, and basically, well, it's one way, but can have different realizations. So, and one of them is basically the to have the external source of income, because this way or the other, however smart token economy you have, it will not it will mean nothing if the market is volatile. But the market is volatile in Web3, extremely volatile. So today we have Bitcoin 60, tomorrow we have Bitcoin 15. That can happen in a month. And what will we do? So, but and so like your token or some whale can dump your token, right? And you can do nothing about this. You're too dependent, so you need to somehow to secure. And in our your situation, and in our case, we're gonna try to go this way. Basically, it's not the time yet to start this kind of negotiations with other projects, but we'll get there soon because we're gonna start at the end of the month. We're heading to, we've just had the alpha and the first beta versions. Now we're upgrading to beta number 2, let's say, and that's where by the end of the month, end of October, and that's where we're gonna start, let's say, soft play to airdrop campaign, and that's where we're gonna more drive more users to the game and build from there.
And will
And
that build be publicly available? Can anyone play that or just
yes,
community?
yes, it
Sweet.
will be available, but the community holds some game passes, and they will give some advantage. Yeah, but
Mm,
we want to do
of
that
course.
public. And they, like for a reason, if we do that public, then we can get more players. We can get more
Yep.
players, we can get more views, and then as a marketing guy, I can try to sell that. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how this is gonna work, but I believe, like, why not? Uh, we can try this. So we can go with the sponsorship group and see at least, like, I believe that at least we can get some revenue, and if that happens, that's already like ultra good sign. Because, and in terms of revenue, what we mean here, uh, so whatever the game can earn, then we can distribute it. It can go 50-50. 50
Hmm.
goes to the treasury or the company to leave, and 50 goes to the rewards. So you see, there can be some mutual mechanism or mechanics that can give that can distribute rewards between us and the players as well. And also we will have a third party that will be a sponsor, and that will get its exposure. So it's like win-win-win situation. Of
Yeah,
course, a lot will. Yeah, yeah.
I like
Go on.
that model a lot. EV.io, they were from the team behind Addicting Games. They had it for a first-person shooter where they advertise inside of it. And I really like the model because you have that new inflow that you can then share and redistribute back to players. It just makes it the tokenomics a little bit more appealing, as opposed to like trying to figure out a dollar in, a dollar out sort of like dynamics, which we've all seen that can become really tricky to manage if it's even possible. So it's important to have like an inflow of money if you're going to make distributions out to the players. We've got just 3 minutes left, Gleb. So are there anything that you want to highlight or point to where people can learn more about Titanborn, or any closing thoughts? I'll pass the mic back to you.
Uh, well, as I mentioned, we're heading to the play to airdrop. It's gonna happen within 3, maximum 4 weeks. We will start. So I welcome everybody to join our Discord. We'll visit our website titanborn.gg. So you will find all the links over there. Join the Discord and follow the announcements on Twitter and the Discord as well. And just be prepared. You can try the game right now. It's open. You can play it. You can try to beat the bosses. You can try to open some loot crates. Of course, all your progress will be wiped, but you will be more prepared than the others. So don't waste your time. Give us a try. I hope you like it, and see you in the arena. And big thanks for you for inviting us. It's a great pleasure to talk to like-minded people. I always loved it. Sorry, maybe for lots of words, but
All
yeah,
good.
I'm talkative by nature. So yeah, every time I go to some kind of podcast, I'm like sweating. I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna say? What if they ask something and I don't know? I don't know how to answer. I always have this anxiety. No, no, but then it starts. It's impossible to shut me shut me down.
Oh, we're cut from the same cloth there, Gleb. So no, it was absolutely wonderful to have you on the pod. It was even more wonderful to get to connect beforehand. I think I'll have a lesson learned that all that stuff connecting about your journey from Ukraine out down to Dubai and the journey with the cat. I got to start including that in the podcast and just start like recording right off the bat because I think that like human connection and conversation and background is interesting to people. So not only great to have you on the podcast, but great to get to know you. I'll definitely be hopping into Titanborn and giving that a play myself. Really appreciate you coming on to the pod. The X account will be in the description for Titanborn as well as for yourself. So go and check that out. Besides that, this has been another episode of Neo Tokyo Interlinked. A little extra message at the end. I will say, if you're not following the NT Plays account and you are in Web3 gaming, you're missing out. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.